right. Okay, so Pastor Irene, I just, number one, want to say thank you. Come on, can we just say thank you again?
Thank you.
I'm just super grateful, and I know we were like talking and doing all the things. I'm just super grateful. Like, I just remember having, I think it was an initial breakfast. It was like a pastor's wives DMV kind of breakfast in the area. And, everyone's talking and they're all sharing and it's church and all the things. And I'm always like, I don't want to talk about numbers. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk any about that. I just need somebody who's real. And it was just like, boop, So in my discernment, I was like, okay, well, Lord, whatever it may look like, open that door to just have that relationship. And I will say, Pastor Irene does not go probably a month or even 2 without checking in and saying, how are you doing? And it's never about like church. It's just family, my heart, my marriage. And so just thank you, because I know you're so busy, all the things, right? But you still take time to be led by the Holy Spirit, which is so vital and important. So let's celebrate her one more time. Thank you.
Be kind.
Yes. So we're going to open up this Q&A. I don't know if there's something specific that you wanted to start with, or you just want to start going through questions. All right, let's do it. Okay, so I haven't even looked at this.
I like being put on the spot.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's more authentic. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to let you know.
Yes. Okay, this is a light one. What has been your favorite part about recovery?
I think really having nothing to hide. The freedom of like just being able to have nothing to hide. So walking shame-free, like dealing with that shame, and then like going into the rooms is what we call it. The rooms are so amazing because I'm learning from people who've gone before me, and I've learned about how to stay away from relapsing. Mm-hmm. If you're not working on your recovery, you're working on relapse. So they're like, keep coming to meetings. There are people who'd been there 9, women who'd been there 10, 15, 20 years sober and then end up relapsing. And I'm like, how did you do that? And I learned that they got hungry, angry, lonely, or tired.
You hear that?
Halt.
Hungry, lonely, angry, tired.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. It's like, it's a weekend, 9 years sober. You mean to tell me you gave away 9 years of hard work in a moment because she got sick?
Right.
And she had the flu. She was lonely all weekend by herself, and it's like, boom. So it happens that quickly. Just when you think you have it all together. Like, I'll go to meetings for the rest of my life.
Right.
Why? Not because I think I'll ever drink again, but I'm not going to act like the enemy isn't outside the door of the meeting doing push-ups in the parking lot.
Yes, come on.
Waiting for me to think I'm good.
That's right.
I got it all together. I don't need counseling.
No.
Shoot.
So we got to be bench lifting as soon as we wake up, right? It's like in the spirit, we got to be doing things, and that's one of those things. Yeah. So the enemy loves to work in our moments of like vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's important to have someone that you can be vulnerable with. Yeah. And that's a lot of like the recovery process and having meetings, because you're going to be vulnerable with someone, right? Which helps those vulnerable moments that the enemy's trying to attack you. So you have to really be looking at your life and asking, man, when I am tired, angry, right, emotional, how am I handling this? Yeah. And it's a lot of the things that we talk about the journey, but even in your book, right, you're breaking down a lot of those things once you kind of set us all up, right, in the first like 2 or 3 chapters. So I'm just thankful.
Really acknowledging like what's happening inside of you. But I have to say another thing I love is the storytelling. Storytelling saves lives.
Come on, that's powerful.
Actually saves lives. I'll never forget being at with another pastor's wife at dinner before I got sober, and she leaned over and she told me about how she had become addicted to porn. Mm-hmm. And how she had gotten over it, and how she had overcome it, and the whole journey. And I'm like, wow. People say that out loud?
Yeah.
Like, she's saying this out loud, a woman.
Wow.
And so I had her come to our women's conference.
Yeah.
And I did it on this whole thing about You Make Me Brave. And she got up there and she sang the song and told her testimony. And I tucked it in the back of my brain and said, one day, I'm going to have the courage to share something. But at that point, she was just dropping seed. I wasn't ready yet to share anything out loud. But at least she opened my eyes to the concept.
Absolutely. And I will say, just sharing your story and even reading the book, because I found even my myself in a moment of vulnerability, and I share it through the journey and then getting back to Eden, like in 2019, where I found myself going for that margarita as a pastor. And I'm very vulnerable and I open up about that in the book, but it's so crazy because if I was going to 2 or 3, I would think about you. And the Lord would just remind me, like, I've placed her in your life to be a covering that she may not even be fully aware of. And it would just kind of like, okay, I got to do better tomorrow. And I'm telling you, and you may not know the depths, but like much of even my like recovery to getting just well in my wellness started with just hearing your story of vulnerability. So like you're impacting not only my life, but every single woman that enters the doors of Highlight Church because of the covering that's over this house. So we just want to just thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you didn't know that.
So kind. No, yeah. I did not know that. But ladies, your stories matter.
That's right. Oh. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's see. Man, this is kind of taking a different turn. But let's go here. Ooh, it's like marriage stuff. Okay. Do you have any guidance on dealing with infidelity? Yeah. Whether you are the one who has cheated or maybe like vice versa. Yeah.
First of all, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I just want to say that to the room. If you've been impacted by infidelity either way, I just want to say I'm sorry that you have to deal with that because that's painful. So in our 2=1 journey, Jimmy and I talk about it's really hard to even have that conversation if you don't have communication skills.
Wow.
And Jimmy and I didn't have communication skills to talk about anything. That's why everything was a fight.
Right.
So what we recommend is having that type of conversation. If you can't have it together and you don't have the tools, you do it in front of a counselor who can mediate the conversation.
Yes.
So in regards to the question, how did they frame it?
Yes. No, it's okay. Do you have any guidance on dealing with infidelity?
Okay. So, obviously forgiveness is the beginning, right? And it's hard. Here's the thing I want to tell you about forgiveness, because I know it's hard to necessarily forgive yourself or the other person when you don't feel like that you have every right to be angry, have every right. But the forgiveness really is for you.
Right.
If we don't forgive others, the Bible says we aren't forgiven. So we forgive others so that we can be forgiven in a sense. And it doesn't mean we're letting them off the hook. It just means we're saying now the process of reconciliation can begin.
Yes.
But it can't begin until you at least make a decision. So look at forgiveness more as a decision.
Come on.
So I'm going to decide to forgive my spouse so that we can begin working on reconciliation. And that might take time. Yeah. So have grace for yourself also, because if you are the one, like, okay, you're the offender. Right. I was the offender. Doesn't mean I am bad, but I'm earning back trust every time I go to a meeting, every time I read a book on sobriety, every time I do a devotion to stay sober.
Yes.
Every time I'm honest with my husband and I say, hey, do you see all those Chardonnays going by on that tray?
Right.
Like, I couldn't even sit near a bar when I just got home from rehab. I had to keep my back to it.
Right.
Me being honest with my husband and saying, hey, I don't think I can go out to eat right now. I'm too tempted. That's created the bridge of rebuilding trust.
Yeah.
So whatever that might look like, maybe in this state of infidelity, it might be, hey, you're the one setting up the counseling, even if your spouse isn't ready to come with you yet. Right.
Right. Yes.
That might help. You go first.
Absolutely.
You go first. And I also want to say that it's hard to hear that you cause somebody pain, but you got to sit there and listen to understand their experience. And that begins healing in them too and rebuilding trust.
That's so good.
Okay, one more thing.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So came home from rehab, rebuilding trust. What does that look like? For me, it was I gave him all my credit cards, full accountability, Life 360. He could see where I went. It got to the point where I just didn't go spend money. I tell him where I'm going, what I'm doing, not because he's trying to control me, but I want to be accountable. I'm offering it before it has to be asked for.
So good.
So if you're the person who stepped out of the marriage, are you the one saying, hey, I'm sorry?
Right.
Is there anything that's happening right now that I could just be with you with in that feeling, that emotion? Like, are you feeling sad right now? Can I just be with you in that? I'm so sorry you're experiencing that. Here's where I'm at. This is, oh, so-and-so tried to reach out to me on social media. I'm just letting you know so you don't find it.
Like you get ahead of it. Yes, absolutely. Because it goes back to the communication. And we're going to be breaking it down in one of our breakout sessions, cycling your thoughts and how the reactive cycle works and how you really have to make sure you're care cycling yourself because you've got to take personal responsibility for your stuff, for your emotions before we go out, right? And so we're going to be breaking that down. But communication is so key. And oftentimes it takes partnering with a therapist, right? Going to a marriage kind of retreat, intensive, in order to get the handles, because yes, many of us can't. So 2 = 1, if you are wanting some information for your marriage, whether it's preventative or even like, oh, we need to kind of work on some things, you've got to get it. And we're going to find a way to even in the merch area to make it available for you ladies to even and then, when you come back to church on Sunday, I'll have it ready for you. But, so let's also do that, but write that down, 2 = 1. Okay. So then here's this question here. Pastor Irene, following multiple family deaths, losses, and a mental health crisis, I am now flourishing in the wilderness. So like Pastor Stephen Andrus last night. How can I help others while I'm healing?
So good.
Yeah.
So I love that. First of all, whoever you are, I love that you're flourishing in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually in a season of flourishing in the wilderness myself.
Yes.
I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, mold illness, and a bunch of other co-infection stuff about 1.5 years ago. And
that was a journey.
To
get there.
I'm
still
up right now. My ear is really hot. I'm having a flare up because I went into autoimmune and all this kind of crazy stuff. But I came here because of her. So, you guys. Because I'm really not traveling speaking by myself, but only for Kaira.
Yeah.
God bless you for having the desire to already give away what you got. So the more I give away my recovery, the more I keep for myself. So I thank you for helping me to stay sober another day. Because you sat and listened to me share. You're keeping me accountable. So
that's good.
Give away what you got.
That's so good.
God will pray, and God will send you someone that you can invest in and pour into. So the reason why I brought up this overcoming Lyme disease is I'm investing in young ladies who all have the same diagnosis, even though I haven't seen the manifestation of the full healing yet.
Right.
I'm encouraging them through text messages. Here's some devotion, some articles, sending them a supplement that I find that's helping my body, whatever, like educating them, checking in on them, whatever I can do to invest in someone else.
Yes.
In the thing I want
for myself.
That's
so good.
Or that I haven't even completely overcome
Absolutely. Yet. Yeah, because I know many of us feel as though we have to have it all together.
Yeah, you don't.
Sometimes to be able to pour into someone else's life. But the most beautiful way to pour into someone else's life is to literally be in the middle of it.
Yes.
And say, hey, this is what I'm learning.
Yes.
But we're going to do this together. Right? And
well, I will say this.
Yes.
In recovery, though, like if it's a substance, you need to go to a meeting and sit and shut up.
Come on. Yeah.
Just listen.
Take it. Yeah.
And if you're feeling shame, because it took me a while to be able to go to a meeting, it's okay to just go and listen and learn from the storytelling, because, honestly, they will give you time to share as a new person in the group. But we can't act like we know it all the time.
Yes.
Okay, I'm 2 days sober, and I think I can share my story with the world. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
I went public with my story at our church when I was 2 years, 3 months sober. And I told my husband, no, I am not going to testify about this until I have some credibility behind me.
Wow. Yeah.
And because warfare is coming.
Absolutely.
The minute you start to testify about that thing, the enemy is going to be there.
Yes, absolutely.
So you better be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's this question here, which is good. What are practical ways to get rid of shame? I have a low self-esteem mindset. So I guess maybe practical ways to work that out.
I love that. In fact, I had actually prepared in my
there you go.
my other message that I was going to speak.
Yeah, no, that's good. Pull it up.
I taught, so anyway, I can't. So I'm going to go from memory.
It's good.
So self-esteem is a continuum. We never arrive.
Right.
That freed me when someone told me that. I was in my late 20s at the time.
Yeah.
We don't ever arrive. It's a
Come
continuum.
on. Yes.
It's not something you have. It's an action we're always working on.
Right.
Your self-esteem.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Sorry, the original question.
No. It's good. It's good. So what are some practical ways,
sure.
to get rid of the shame?
Yes. So number one, acknowledge that we're all in this process,
all of
the
us.
self-esteem continuum for the rest of your life. So normalize that.
Yes.
Second, shame, you recognize it. What am I feeling? You're going to feel it in your body. All of the emotions that God created, you feel somewhere in your body.
Yes.
So if you can Google it, there are emotions charts out there that you can plop on your refrigerator and help your kids even start to have language around it. We started our family meetings with okay, what are you feeling? What is the emotion, the definition, and then where are you feeling it in your body? So you'll begin to recognize where you're feeling shame. Typically, in this area, get red and hot, right? And once you acknowledge that you're feeling shame, then you can decide what you're going to do with it.
Come on.
And so at that point, you reality check it.
Yes.
Is this true? Is it 100% true? Is it mine? Or does this not belong to me?
That's good.
And, if it's a lie in a script, then I'm replacing it with the truth of the Word of God.
Yes.
So it's we're talking about this is for the rest of your life.
That's so good. The awareness of that. Here, oh, my goodness.
Having to speak scripture over myself to remind myself that I can get up and speak in front of people. Because, there was a time I would never pick up a mic. I ran from the stage, right?
Yeah.
And it's God called me to minister publicly,
absolutely,
with the most shameful of stories. Doesn't he have a sense of humor?
Yeah.
Be careful what you pray for.
Right.
And what you ask for. But I have to deal with shame every time I get up on the stage.
Wow.
I'm so vulnerable, but it's it's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
It's it keeps me from.
Wow.
So the shame in the gift of the emotion is keeping me from drinking.
That's so
Does that
good.
Make sense?
Yes. And then, I know in your book you give all of these handles too. So that's why it's so important, ladies. You've got to get that definitely just to read through it. Even if it's going through it through the summer and taking your time. That's what I do. I've done it audible, while I'm in the car, and then I'll have to stop and re-listen. So it's just, I know you give a lot of the handles.
In my own book.
Yeah,
those tools are good, and I want them to keep on giving.
yes. Okay, let's see. And that's why even for, the flourishing journey, it's we have to go through these, we have to go through mind health. And what does that look like? There's so many practical things, take that and go sit in the sun for 30 minutes and process through the shame. And watch God begin to alter just all those kind of emotions that are stuck, and he will release it, especially when you're praying, because there's something just so powerful. He made the sun for us, not us for the sun, And so that's kind of what we go through, and we just get so caught up because we're constantly in our homes or constantly in a car or whatever, and we forget that there's a creation around us that God designed for us to thrive, for us to flourish in, right? Not the other way around. So, yeah. Okay, so let's see here.
And light dispels darkness.
Yes.
Light dispels darkness.
Come on.
And in my own physical health healing journey, it's a part of my functional medicine doctor's prescription is I have to get sunlight
30 minutes a day.
Yeah. And it's literally toxins are breaking up. Mold it's killing mold that's become toxic in my body. light dispels darkness.
Right.
Truth dispels darkness. So it's like when you think about that negative thought, whatever, dispel it with light. And it's like Jesus Christ, like just say his name.
Yeah, it's so
Have
good.
a scripture you just are ready to say over yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it dispels darkness. It's true.
Yeah, we always go back and forth with like all the wellness things, you know, because it's like all the things. And so I just love it. Yes. So even in the summertime, like some people stop taking their vitamin D3 with K2. And I'm like, just keep taking it. Because are you really going to get in the sun today? Take that vitamin D. You need it. OK, trust me. So these are a lot of the things that we hit on in the journey, because I'm telling you, I've just learned that it's not always like the soul issue. Like oftentimes, like, you know, for me, it was like I was good in my soul, but there were still so many things, and it was bringing me, So, okay, this one's a good one. How do you repair a mother-daughter relationship when both have different versions of the past, or maybe they've been hurt by one another, you know, just growing up? So how do you repair that relationship?
You know what? Can I have my daughter answer this question?
If she's like, what, Mom? Sure. Come.
How would you help the people? Couldn't it be a more
or share some ways you all have repaired it? Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Mom. How to repair a mother-daughter relationship. I think for us, we had a very fractured relationship, especially around the time that she went to rehab. I was only about 14, and so it's just like, you're a teenager, you already don't like your mom. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you already don't like your mom. Here's another reason to not like her even more.
Wow.
And so we didn't really have that close relationship, especially when she came back from rehab, because I was like, okay, she's back, but I'm waiting to see change. And so one thing I always say when people ask like how we got to the place we are now, where we're like close to best friends, I would say,
Aww.
you know,
yes,
is through open communication and talking. That was the first thing. Like she said, we went to family counseling, but we also went like just me and her, and she did sit there and listen to me tell her all the ways that, you know, she had hurt me, or that how it, like her addiction had affected me, or her and Dad's fighting. And then she apologized, which, like she said, forgiveness is a decision. So she apologized. I decided to forgive her. And then we were able to walk out our process of reconciliation. And I think it's true that actions truly do speak louder than words. I accepted that I accepted her apology.
Right.
But she proved to me, like, I know she'll never drink again because she's proven it to me.
Wow.
And not just because, she went a year not drinking and 2 years not drinking, but through constant, like, watching her, like she said in her message, to apply it. Like, she truly does apply it every single day. Like, waking up early, doing her devotions with the Lord, reading up on things, like, and I've just seen her work time and time and time again. So even though we were talking things out, and I was still a teenager, still, have that little bit of distance between us, we really got close because I was able to open up my heart to say, I think I can be close to you because you've proven it to me. And watching her day in and day out. And so I know we still have our moments, of course, like mothers and daughters do, but I just trust her so much, and I love her so much. And I would say to the person who maybe wrote this question or feels like they have a strained relationship with their mother, I never thought that I would ever like her.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's not just me saying, we're close now and we used to fight. I truly never thought that we would be close. I remember thinking when they were fighting and she was in rehab, I'm going to go live with my grandparents. Like, I don't need to be around her or my dad. It was the same thing with him. Like, I don't need to be around either of them. And I really believe that in my deep soul. Yeah. And in counseling, I would tell the counselor, it's just never going to be. We're never going to be close. And I just have to accept that. Wow. So I would say, even if it feels like hopeless, there is hope.
Come on. That's good, hope. Kayla. Let's go, Kayla.
I love you, baby. So
she's amazing. She truly is. And one of the things that just kind of stick out is therapy. It's so beneficial. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It's just things occur in our lives, even as we're young, and we just need that outside perspective. So that's why Pastor Stephen Andrus is a gift to my husband and I, and even our staff. And they're all shaking their heads. Sam leaves a session and she's like, and then questioning all sorts of things. But it helps you process through life. And so therapy, like, you've got to find a good Christian counselor. I know here at Highlight, we partner with Safe Harbor Christian Counseling. And then if you're a superhero, we do provide the first 2 sessions. And then we get the responsibility, though, back on you, because you've got to take responsibility for your healing. But we at least help kickstart that journey. So, that's just kind of what hit my heart.
For going first.
Yeah. Oh,
so that, like, going first and normalizing it.
Yeah.
So that there's no stigma with it. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, it's just mind blowing. Mm. And so a healthy staff is going to mean a healthy church, right. And a healthy healthy families in the church is going to mean a healthy community.
So good. So good.
I'm grateful.
So this is actually a good question. I have chronic Lyme disease and would love to be in contact with you, but how can I be a part of the women you're helping? Like, is that like a Lyme Foundation? You know what I mean? Or even just some resources?
Made it public yet.
Yes. Okay.
Only because I'm not there yet.
Yes.
In my journey, I'm still super tired. I don't have a whole lot of energy to give, but I would be happy to take your information, and Pastor Kaira, you can make sure you get that information to the team here.
Yes.
They'll get it to my daughter, Kayla, and when I do start that, I'll reach out to you. I promise you.
Yeah, so if you want to just email the Flourishing team, or is it Flourishing team at highlight.church? Flourishing at highlight.church. That's even more simpler. So just email your information, and we'll go from there. I know that God is authoring something beautiful through that whole process and through the journey that you're on. Because you are right. It's funny. I'm going to share it in my breakout. 80% of autoimmune sufferers are women. I literally have it written in my notes. I'm so serious. Yes. It is so real. And so that means that if we have 10 people standing up here in the front that have autoimmune, 8 of those people will be women. And they're linking it to birth control. Because birth control is actually a very new concept. So it's something that I kind of challenge the girls in, because it's suppressing the way God has formed and made our bodies to function on a monthly basis. Yes.
Get it.
So they're,
Now that I'm in this journey, because we're supposed to be able to in order for me to get well from Lyme disease and mold toxicity, I have to get rid of things. So I actually have to praise God for my cycle monthly.
Yes.
Because it's a way to get rid of the darkness.
Yes.
Like, my body has to get rid of it.
Yes. So my heart is to help the women. No, it's so true. Understand, like, it's a gift from God. Because we can go to Leviticus, and I'm literally going to go through this, and this is what fires me up. But it's like we go to Leviticus and we think like, oh, God's made me unclean, so then it's unclean. But then we've just made it this like, oh, you have your period here. Shh, go take a pad. It's like, no, you have your period, girl. That's God's gift to you. Here's a pad. And we've just normalized it in the church, because the thing is, like, this whole my body, my choice, like, I understand, but it's actually, when you are a Christian, a daughter of the Most High, it's his body, his choice. And at the end of the day, the birth control is you taking control of your birthing process. And what that also does to our teens, our youth, is it doesn't allow them to actually value their wombs, value that it's a gift from God. And so then we give it away, right, to someone who won't be around in 6 months. And so, like, my heart is for women to be like, I love my body, I love myself so much, and I love my flow. I'm not giving none of this to you, okay, until you put a ring on it, right? And so we normalize the conversations, but it's so true. So they're linking, especially breast cancer, to the birth control. It's wild. And this is just like starting to come out, because again, it's a new concept. We didn't start really getting the birth control till like the 50s and 60s, and definitely it was the 70s that it just started, So anyways, I can go down a whole rabbit trail and all the things. Oh my goodness. Okay. How do I forgive someone who's emotionally or mentally abused me, and they're supposed to be my safe place? Yeah. I know. So, yes, let's share. I know. So the first thing my mind goes to is, are they really your safe place? So it's evaluating that relationship, because sometimes over time, the emotional and mental abuse can be normalized until it's like a really heightened situation. Kind of like what you were sharing during your message, right? Where it's like you called it something when you were younger, like it's not directed to you, right? It was directed to witness abuse. Exactly. So sometimes that can be occurring also. And so you think that it's normal, but it's really not. And so you really have to process through, is it really safe? And if you've processed through that and the answer is no, we need to start having another conversation. Because God is a God of peace. And so let's say if you're married and God is a God of peace. He wouldn't want this disruption even in your marriage. So we need to take a step back. There needs to be healing that needs to take place separately. Like you need to be healed. He needs to be healed. And if the decision is to return to that marriage, right? Yes, you work that out. But definitely that would be like my first thing. Are they really a safe place? And so, but safe place is very important. I just had an experience here with my son before he head off to his game, and he hit a double, Chris. Okay, and brought 2 runners in. They're in championship season, so I'm a big baseball mom, y'all. So, but he had a moment, and had we not been a safe place in our home, in this church, like my son would not have just, had that vulnerable moment, and he would be totally okay with me sharing this, but he would not have had that moment or not even exposed it to even like a Sam while she was seeing him walk out. So she grabbed and started praying. And so it's important to have safe places in your life, because as you grow, then you become a safe place. Because if not, it just continues. The dysfunction continues. So you've got to take a step back and really ask yourself, is it really?
And thank you for being the safe place. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think you guys realize how big of a deal that is, that her child realizes it's okay to emote, even at church, for y'all to see him share his emotions. And it was about something that went down between them, and it's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's huge.
Yes.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So thank you for normalizing that.
Absolutely.
And and because of that, your son is going to attract females that are healthy.
Come on.
And he's only going to be attracted to health because of that.
Moms?
Right?
Yeah. That's so
it's
true.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And here's the thing. So he will recognize when he's in a relationship with a female and it's unsafe.
Yes.
Because back to the question, you will know that it's unsafe.
Correct.
It's psychologically, what is it, 6 months? You can only fake for 6 months. So date long enough for the true colors to come out. After 6 months, you can't continue to fake who you are. I remember Jimmy and I we met 3 months later, we were engaged. No, 2 months later, we were engaged. Married at 9 months total of knowing each other.
That's like Joshua and I almost. That's
right?
Crazy. Yeah,
but
that's wild. I didn't know that.
We had our first fight.
Wow, okay.
And all our immaturity was coming out.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm out. Like, he's the take my kickball and go home person that wants to quit in the relationship. And I'm like, you put a ring on my finger?
Come on. Right, we're going to work this out.
We're not going backwards, even though we're not married yet. So, like you said, evaluating, is this a safe place before you even get married?
Yes.
And if you are in the relationship, get in counseling is my recommendation, because I'm going to be super vulnerable, and we do this in our book. We go there. I had villainized my husband, and he had become, to me, my abusers, my verbal and physical abusers from my past. I projected onto him what I had experienced from all my previous male interactions. Right. He wasn't the villain. But I thank God I was in counseling. It was the counselor that helped me to see it.
Come on.
Because he couldn't convince me.
Right.
Oh, no.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody could convince me that he wasn't being controlling, because he was at times. You couldn't tell me that he wasn't being verbally abusive. I took what he said as a verbally abusive. So this was my experience. I'm not minimizing your experience.
Right.
You have to evaluate your own experience, but my perception of him was off because I listened through the lenses of previous hurt and not through the reality of the moment.
Wow.
If he was abusive, she was a mandated reporter. She would have had to report him.
Yes.
And in my head, I'm like, he's abusive, and I had just totally villainized him.
Wow.
And it wasn't until I got healed of my own stuff that I began to say,
personal responsibility. Yes.
I was reacting out of I couldn't see it for a long time. And then it was also his work to do, to acknowledge. So the safe place creates, if we both worked on creating the safe place. I finally said out loud, hey, babe, this is what I experienced in my past. So when I hear you say, when I observe you do this, when I hear your voice go up like this, I go into fight, flight, or freeze.
Yes.
So my vulnerable request, after I've been totally honest and vulnerable with him about when I experienced the pain, then not accusing him, this is what I observed.
Right.
What I made up, back to responsibility, I made up that you were being overly harsh, that you were being mean, that you were being whatever. And I'm asking that, can you bring your voice down?
Yes.
So like whoever you are, you have the ability, and if you don't have the self-esteem yet or the tools yet to tell someone, hey, what you're saying is hurting me. I think we need to stop this conversation and pick it up later because I'm hearing you with a tone that's elevated and it's not going to be productive for me.
That's so good.
Like, you know what I mean? Like setting those boundaries. I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah.
It was counseling that helped me figure out what I could say.
Yes. I
didn't have the courage. To say, I didn't know how to say. I grew up boundaryless. No boundaries. Internally, externally, people abused me physically. I didn't know how to say, no, this belongs to me, this body. And I get to decide who touches it.
Right.
So I taught my kids better. And then when I hear things, I don't have to take it in internally.
Yes.
But I can also ask for what I need and what I want. Can you please not speak to me in that tone?
Yes. There you go. Yeah. And that's the thing that even, Joshua and I learned when we were like marriage intensive, let's just go deep dive. You've got to take personal responsibility because it's almost like, let's say if you got, hit by a car, right? You're not going to chase the person who hit you. Like you need help. You're going to go to the hospital. And so oftentimes in our marriages or in our relationships, like you hurt me, I'm going to go after you, right? But it's really, no, let me stop. Let me take care of self first to reflect, right? To take the personal responsibility and figure out why am I feeling this way? So even Joshua would come home and he would have a face. And I've shared this with some of y'all. He would have a face like, he's just tired and he's hungry. Yeah. But I would internalize it because growing up, my dad would come home with the face, right? And it was, I did something wrong or something's going on or whatever. So I automatically would think, I did something wrong. What did I do to my husband? Oh my gosh. But it would create this tension in our marriage. And it wasn't until I had that awareness, it was like, oh my gosh, wait, it's not him, it's me. Let me heal from this past trauma. And so, yeah, and I know both of your books cover all of that so well. So
we're checking to make sure everything's okay.
Right.
And we become so annoying. Like Jimmy gets so annoyed by me because he's like, she keeps checking to see, are you okay? Are you okay?
Right.
Are you okay? Because I'm being the child that was abused.
Yes.
And I'm walking on eggshells, checking to make sure we're okay.
Yes.
Because I don't know how to not be okay. I mean, I don't know how to be okay when you're not okay.
Not okay, exactly.
And I have learned that it's okay for Jimmy not to be okay. It's okay for Josh to have that face.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
It was my work to do.
Right.
To realize that, like, dude, like, I don't know. I just could not take the displeasure I see on his face.
Yeah.
I took it like it was at me.
Yes.
Wasn't.
Right. Yeah. No, it's good. So I hope you're getting some of that, all those good nuggets. Okay. So we're going to do 2 questions and then let's see. There's so many. We've got 46 questions. Oh my, yeah. How about you pick?
Let's roll.
You'd have to go through. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for entering y'all's questions. Ooh.
Oh, I like the one about weight. So how do I deal with the shame of being overweight when I really want to lose weight, but it feels so hard and overwhelming?
Yeah.
I understand. And the reason why I understand is not because maybe I've experienced it. Well, I did gain, 65 pounds with each child. And I have stretch marks and a muffin top that I'm very proud of, okay? Because my beautiful babies are a part of it. But I didn't get there overnight where I was shame-free about it. Like, Jimmy, my husband, I shared with you guys earlier that his drug of choice was food. And I could tell him all day long, every day, babe, like, we need to get healthy together. Like, this is our journey together. I never shamed him about it, right? But he would look in the mirror and be like, I'm good. When he got up to 420 pounds, we're talking about 2 plane seats.
Wow.
2 seats on the plane. We can't do activities with our kids. It has impacted our lives. So in recovery, we say, I have admitted that I am powerless over, you fill in the blank, so let's say your weight, and my life has become unmanageable. So the question for everyone in this room is there something that's becoming or has become unmanageable in your life? So what does unmanageability look like? Your weight.
Yeah.
And so I was drinking and could hide it. You couldn't see it.
Right.
It's no different than somebody dealing with their weight. You can just see it on the outside. Jimmy saw me get well, and he finally, for himself, realized I need to do this for me. Yeah. And he got bariatric surgery, so he got the gastric sleeve.
Yes.
He could not do it without a tool. I could not get well without rehab. You just have to figure out what it is for you.
What is the tool? Exactly.
Yes. What's going to work for you?
Right.
But
and not shame it either. Whatever decision you decide. Yes.
Yeah, we did, Jenny Craig. We did y'all, no joke. I've known this man for 26 years, and literally he's been on a yo-yo journey, but I'm there with him. I'm there with him on this journey. It's been a yo-yo since I met him.
Yeah.
From 420 and all the way back down. But he's 165 pounds lighter. And making a choice every day. Now he's a cyclist.
Yeah.
If you follow him on Instagram, I am Jimmy Rollins. Like, get inspired by his journey. He's 51 years old, and he's discovering new things to keep himself healthy, to be in nature, to move away from food.
Yes.
As the dopamine hit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. No.
I don't know if that helps.
No, that's so good. And it's like the tool, like what is the tool, and being okay. But that was a good question. I'm glad that you all shared it. No, how about you? You picked a good one. Look at all these. I know.
But whoever you are with Lyme disease, please send your email.
Yes.
Because if I have the energy, I can definitely be there for you.
Yes. I just know that God's going to work out that platform even in your life, Pastor Irene, because just all the things that you've discovered, have gone through. Man, and we've been going back and forth about it, so it's just been awesome.
I kind of like this talk about codependency real quick. Somebody's asking about losing shame and codependency. So I'm in recovery from codependency as well. And for the rest of my life, I'll be on this journey, checking when I'm making those behaviors and then doing a behavior shift. Again, it's that repeated behavioral change and education. So Maya Angelou in The Caged Bird Sings has a... What is it? That, yeah.
She's like, that part.
I'm not going to remember it for word, but there's a portion where she says, I became aware that I was unaware. So it's like, I pray that they're in this room as it pertains to codependency, that you guys start digging into it, that you start following people on social media that talk about it, that you normalize freedom from codependency. And so then as we're all beginning to get educated, then we can call it out. Then we can do something different about it, just like shame. We know when it's becoming toxic. We become resilient when we recognize it, and then we change the behavior to the healthy. So learn, educate about codependency. So that we can go on this journey forever. I'll give you one resource. I'm a resource queen on this stuff. It's all in my book. I have all those resources for the types of treatments you can get, from counseling, IOP, stuff for your marriage. I've got stuff in there for codependency, but Melody Beatty, that's what I was looking for, is a huge person. Codependent No More, Pia Melody, she's in my book as well, Facing Codependency. It'll change not just your life, your relationships, and generations.
Come on.
Like, you're going to break generational crap.
That's so good.
I'm telling you, when you get awakened, I hope I didn't offend anybody by saying it that way, but like,
good.
It is. It's so crappy. The more you learn about codependency, you're going to be like, oh my God, that's the root of my addiction. Not the addiction, it's codependency.
The root, yes.
The root. Family dysfunction is at the center of all of
it is. Yeah.
All of it.
Yes. It starts like the moment that we become aware as kids. But I mean, because I've done the deep dive psychologically too. Some scientists are like, no, it's even before that. You know, there's a book that I often share. I don't know. It's Sam. I always point it to you, but they just did a test on rats, right, and mouse, and the first generation was to go through a maze, and they would have to get to the chocolate, and that was their reward system. But then they started to zap the mouse before it got to the chocolate, and so by the third generation, that mouse decided to not go through the maze, even though it wasn't being shocked. And so, like, you've got to really think through what happened to, like, my mom's mom, right? And because even a woman, if she's pregnant with a daughter, like, you've got 3 generations in you at one time. So all that stuff is linked. And even God, I'm the father of or Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Like, he is a God of generations. And so it's important to go back, get to the root, what happened in childhood, kind of dig it up, and then allow the Holy Spirit to breathe on it. Because you can't heal on your own. And it's actually something I'm going to be mentioning in my message as we close conference, but you need the Holy Spirit to breathe on whatever occurred, because only he can bring that healing. And so just, yes, absolutely.
So in recovery, we like to say, I have a burning desire. That means, like, at the end of the meeting, like, I have to say this.
Yes.
So one of the things I wanted to just bring clarity to, one thing I've been saying a lot, ADHD. I've been saying that about myself, right? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with acknowledging that I have a part of my brain that needs more stimulation. I have attention deficit, like, I get distracted easily. So God didn't make a mistake with me.
Come on.
There's nothing wrong with me. My husband is severe on the spectrum of ADHD.
Yeah.
And I honestly was resenting him and hating him for years. Hating him. Yes, I said it. I hated him for certain behaviors. And he was driving me crazy. And it wasn't until I got these books, The Couples Thriving with ADHD, The ADHD Effect on Marriage, I began to go, oh my gosh, Lord, forgive me.
Wow.
Because I have shamed him, I have hated him, resented him for the way you've created him. So I learned about ADHD and I realized, oh my gosh, some stuff he can't help, some stuff he can.
Yes, right.
We chose medication route.
Right.
And then we were able to learn behaviors that where it makes our life more functional.
Yes, manageable,
and manageable, and we're not resentful. But his life had become unmanageable because of his forgetfulness, because of his needing to get that dopamine hit, and like over shopping, and like, oh God. So I'm just grateful for the fact that we admit it as a family.
So good. And
then we do whatever we need to do to get whatever we need in order to be the best versions of ourselves. It's a superpower. Jimmy has a superpower.
Yeah.
He can think of 5 things at the same time. Yeah. I can't do that.
No, it's so good. I mean, and both of you, like, truly giants in the faith. And I'm just so thankful that you and your husband have paved the way for so many. For my husband and I, here in the state of Maryland and beyond, like, we are so grateful for you guys. Truly, we love you. And I just know, like, people say this, and it's cliche, but Pastor's big on this. Like, we have to normalize the cliches, because it's like, you guys truly are just getting started. Like, I know it. I know it. He has some big things over the next 10 years. And often, just like Paul prayed, right, 3 times, remove this thorn, Lord. And the Lord is like, no. So you're paving the way for something big. So keep going, keep dreaming. Yes. You know, because so many are going to benefit. So we love you so much. Can we just thank Pastor Irene?